Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You're here with your channel host, GBHL James.
And GBHL Jamie, and it's our Moria and Angmar week.
Woohoo! Yeah. It's another sourcebook review week. An interesting one. We've had to really sort of rack our brains about how to divide this down, but I think Jamie's cracked it.
We're going to do the heroes of Moria, so sort of all the cheapest heroes. Then we're going to do the monsters of Moria, which is 5 of the big gribblies. The warriors of Moria, then heroes of Angmar and warriors of Angmar, because Angmar's a little bit small.
Yeah, and we'll probably have a little look at some of the scenarios as well, just like we have on some of the other sourcebook review weeks, which have been very well received.
Yeah.
So hopefully a nice week of content ahead of you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure that you let us know. So we're starting off with the heroes of Moria. Now Moria is a very popular faction, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a very competitive faction as well.
Very, very competitive, which we will come on to. But you bring Moria, don't you?
I do, yes.
You do bring Moria. And
well,
a lot
at least
of
I used to quite a lot.
Yeah,
I'm a bit bored of it now.
You always said that you like playing good armies better than playing...
You got better heroes and good. You got more relatable.
Yeah, of course.
To use.
Of course, but this is about evil, guys.
It is.
And we start off with the Goblin King.
The original Goblin King, Durbers, the Goblin King of Moria.
Very different for anybody who's just got involved in The Hobbit to the Goblin King that you know from the movies or from the Lakes game.
So he is movement 5, as are all goblins. This is something we'll see. Their movement is stunted. Now he's fight 4 with a 5+ shoot value, strength 4, defense 6, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 4, 3 might, 2 will, 2 fate.
Which is actually
pretty cheap for what he is.
I was going to say, it's a pretty good profile. It's
a nice, just standard profile. I mean, when you consider it as an evil profile, it's even better because evil are rubbish.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the attacks, the might, the will, the fate, there it's the same as a knight, not knight of Pen or a martial of Riddermark.
Just without the fight value. Yeah. He comes with Cave Dweller. Cave Dweller allows you to re-roll wands, is it? Or you +1 to your roll on the climb and jump chart. And he has an Iron Fist. Such as the fear inspired by Durbers, his standfast is 12 inches rather than the normal 6.
Which could be quite important for goblins, of course, unless you bring in some kind of shaman. Now he is very, very cheap. You know, he's kind of like what you'd expect from a captain. He's like an Uruk-hai captain, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, and you do get a lot for that.
He's well worth it, but he tends to be overshadowed by another Goblin King that we'll see later on.
Ooh, very, very interesting. In terms of the model itself, it's a weird one.
When you've got, it's not a great pose for the position of him there. When you've got the model in your hand, it's actually a really nice model.
Yeah. One of your favourites?
No.
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 Just a nice model.
Well, I'm just wondering because in your top 10 favourite models, there's a gap, so you know it could be anything. It could be anything.
It's not Durbers. Next up, we have Druzag, the Beast Caller. Now, a very, very good model.
Yeah, we've seen him.
Very, very good profile instead.
We've seen him. See him quite a bit actually.
Yeah, he comes along quite often. His stat line is nothing to really marvel at. He's fight 3, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 2 wounds, courage 4, 2 might, 5 will, 2 fate.
So his role is pretty clear there. He's going to be some kind of caster, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a caster. He's got Cave Dweller, as do all goblins, so that can be just nullified from now on. He is Master of the Dark Wild. All bats, wargs and spiders within 12 inches of Druzag use his courage instead of their own.
Now, considering some of the courage of some of those beasts...
It's very good.
That's very good, because...
Bats charging into territories in elf heroes.
Because what's the courage of bats, just off the top of you? So, courage 2. Courage of wargs? 2. Courage of... Spiders?
I believe it's 3. Spiders are a bit braver.
So you can see he's an immediate buff. An immediate horn, effectively, for those guys.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
And then he's got some magical powers. He's got his unique ability, Enraged Beast, with a range 12 inches. It costs a 3+ to cast. And this power can be used against a single bat, unridden warg, or spider model. If the power is successfully used, the target's fight value, strength, attacks, and courage are increased by 3 until the end of that fight phase. The Enraged model then suffers a strength 10 hit at the end of the fight phase.
This is a very nasty spell.
Very, very nasty.
This is a very nasty spell.
I think we should talk about what the stats of the Enraged Beasts are as well.
Yeah.
So you can get an idea of what happens to
let's do that with the bog standard warg.
Yeah.
Let's do it with the bog standard warg, because this is how I can remember my first tournament down at East Grinstead, and I played against the wonderful Damien Grantham.
Yeah.
And we had an incredibly fun game playing Warg Nation, and he had a goblin list.
Yep.
And he had Mr. Druzag in there, and all of a sudden, enraged wargs were matching.
Or beating.
Well, yeah, beating Erkenbrand.
Yeah.
We're beating Erkenbrand, so I had a heroic strike to kill Wogs.
Yeah. Sad times.
It's a good job that I won.
You've got to.
Yeah, because they become
right.
beasts.
So an enraged Wog is fight 6, strength 7, 4 attacks. Yeah, and courage 7 if they're within range of him.
Yeah. So immediately.
I mean, that strength 7 falls to wound Erkenbrand 4 dice. If he's trapped by anything, he can very quickly go down.
Yeah, it's a very scary proposition,
yeah.
And it's why you're probably paying quite a lot of points for him.
Yeah, he's like Gimli and Legolas.
Yeah, he's
at points level.
He's a lot more expensive than the Goblin King before.
Yeah.
So we do tend to see him, but he does have another rule, doesn't he?
He does.
Another spell.
He's got Bestial Fury. The dice score to use is a 3+. It can be channeled in the community FAQ. This works exactly as described for Fury in the main rules manual, except it applies to unridden wargs, spiders, and bat swarms, not goblins.
So all of a sudden, your beasts, they're fearless, effectively. You know.
Essentially, yeah.
They're fearless. They can charge anything that they want. They're going to get a save, a Fury save.
Yep. If they're within 6 inches of him.
And it'll be channeled, so that's going to be really, really good.
You wouldn't have a channel this.
Sorry.
The thing is, I've played with him and I've played against him, and I've never seen Bestial Fury or Bestial Fury cast. It's just not worth. No, not even channel.
Okay.
Just not cast.
Okay.
Because the ability to enrage a beast on a 3+, the same value of casting Bestial Fury, you get 5 potential enrage rolls, and you save your might to boost your 2 to a 3 and that 1 to a 3 as well.
Yeah, he really is a true sort of buff to a Moria army, and that's why you're paying all those extra points for him, because he is quite expensive.
I mean, he's courage 4 as well, so he's not likely to run away, and he tends to hang around the back as well.
And a very interesting model.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's got a staff with a dwarf's head with its beard still attached on it.
I think we unboxed him. We did unbox him.
And we talked about how his bats are often used for bat swarms. So you get essentially 2 models in one.
Maybe we should, to save us with content, put that in the playlist.
Yep.
Great idea.
Next up, we've got Groblog. His fluff is that he's found a bunch of mithril, made it into a crown, and is now calling himself the Goblin King.
Mm-hmm.
So he is fight 3, so not great. Strength 4, defense 6, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 3, 3 might, 1 will, 1 fate. And he has armour and the mithril crown.
Yeah, and again, he's like that kind of captain-y kind of points, isn't he? He's slightly cheaper than the Goblin King.
Yep. But the mithril crown, when Fury is cast and he's alive and on the table, the Fury becomes a 5+ Fury.
So effectively channel Fury.
So effectively channel Fury, and then the Shamans have got their points of might spare. So he, for 5 points less than the first Goblin King, gets taken so much more because he gives the Shamans essentially their might back.
Yeah. Yeah, and a pretty good profile.
He's all right, he's very often the general, and he sculpts behind the lines massively.
Yeah, because he's providing that.
He's got that bonus. He's not likely to die from shooting, and if you've got Shamans, which you do in his army, he's not going to run away. Now
he is a weird model, and a model that I've seen discussed quite a lot on forums when I first got involved because of line of sight.
Yeah, he's very, very odd. Basically, the model is there. It's the one that he's perched on top of a pillar, pointing his sword out with his big old hat on, and quite a lot of people don't like this model.
Yeah.
I personally didn't like the profile, the stance of it all, so I cut an armoured goblin's legs off, cut his torso off, and have him sort of pointing his sword, standing. I know people have cut his hat down because they think it looks more like a chef's hat than a character crown.
It does a little bit, doesn't it? It does.
And just generally on the whole, it's not a great model.
It's interesting because we do see conversion here, and we also see, with Druzag, a lot of people take the bats off, don't they?
Yeah, I've not got the bats on mine either.
And use them as a bat swarm.
Yeah.
So effectively two models for price of one.
Yeah.
And then we go to what I think is a very cool model.
Really cool model, yeah.
A really, really cool model, and this is the Wild Warg Chieftain.
Would you like to?
I would love to. So this is the Wild Warg Chieftain. Pretty good profile. He's kind of like your mid-points lanes. He's the same points as Erkenbrand without a horse. Yeah. And he's got fight 5, so the same. Shoot value 5, but of course that doesn't matter. He's strength 6.
Good. Can't be knocked over.
Strength 6. He's defense 5, 2 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 3, 1 might, 3 will, and 1 fate. That is an interesting stat line. It is an interesting stat line. So already quite a good fight value in there, and the strength, the big sort of key ones for him.
Yeah.
And 3 wounds.
Yeah, 3 wounds is good.
3 wounds is good. Now he does cause terror as part of the special rule, and he also has the rule Pack Lord, which is only other wild wargs may use the wild wargs chieftain stand fast rule or benefit from his heroic actions. So a little bit of a negative there for him. Unless you're going for that kind of themed army. Now, do we see this guy much?
In conjunction with Druzek, yes.
Yeah, because
occasionally, because when he had +3 to his stats, you know, he's fight 8, strength 9, 5 attacks, and he's got 3 wounds to save that sort of strength 10 hit against him. Yeah. So yes, in an army with Druzek you'll see him, or if you're going for theme, you want something else.
Yeah, and of course he moves 10 just like, you know, a warg should do. And in terms of his role on the battlefield, I mean, we don't tend to see this guy as a general, I'm guessing.
No.
Even with the 3 wounds. But he's something that goes in there and tries to smash stuff up.
Yeah, so he'll go in heroic strike, or he'll go in and enrage and try and kill some stuff.
Yeah, very, very cool. And it's a bit sad to see that he appears to be over some kind of Rohirrim.
Yeah.
I don't like this model anymore. I don't like this model anymore. And with that takes us to the end of the actual named heroes. So they've only got 1, 2, 3...
So named hero. Well, no, there are more. There's another one.
Oh, there is another one.
They're just a bit out of order.
Ah, very interesting. So then we actually go to your standard Moria Goblin Captain.
Who is dirt cheap.
He's well cheap. He's very, 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 very cheap. I'm not even sure what we could compare him to. Cheapest one.
New
Gollum. Go check it out. So Moria Goblin Captain. Now he's fighter 3, just like a lot of these goblins are.
Yeah.
He's strength 4. And that's quite an interesting thing about some of the Goblin heroes. They
keep the strength though.
They keep the strength, which is good. Defense 5. He's got 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 3, and obviously the captain profile: 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate. So pretty standard captainy kind of stuff.
Yep.
He comes with the armour, which is why he's defense 5, but he can take a shield, taking defense 6. So I'm guessing you probably would do. He can take a orc bow as well, which I'm guessing we don't see as much unless you've got the points hanging around.
It's always an interesting one. Like the Moria Goblin Captain very rarely gets used nowadays because of the next choice that is so much more beneficial to your force.
Yeah, and we tend to see it, I think...
Moria Goblin Captains actually get around without any additional gear. You keep them cheap and cheerful.
Yeah, well, 35 points.
Yeah.
35 points, you keep it cheap, like you say, it's enabling you, I suppose, just take more troops.
You can have another goblin or an orc bow, take another goblin.
Exactamundo. So really, really cheap. Got Cave Dweller like all the Moria Goblin Captains, and you say that we don't really see this much of this one. But who we do see a lot of
is the Moria Goblin Shaman. Good old shamans.
Wow.
Is this the first time we come across them? Besides the Easterling, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is, yeah.
And the Urukai one. So he's fight 2, he's rubbish. He's got an awful profile. He's strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 2 wounds, courage 3, 1 might, 3 will, 1 fate.
He's not for combat.
No, he has armour and a spear. So he should be behind the lines. Yeah. He has Cave Dweller, he's got Fury on a 3+, and Transfix on a 5+. So typically you'll see them throwing 2 dice at a Fury, and most likely channeling it as well, unless Groblog's in the force. And they're just going to keep the goblins in the fight for much too long. Far too long. That's it.
Yeah, and especially when you've got so many goblins. So if you decide to hoard it out, and there are a couple of different builds you can go for with Moria, aren't there?
There are, yes. Yeah.
You're probably going to either see the Goblin Horde.
Yeah, just lots of goblins.
Lots and lots of goblins.
Gunderbads.
Gunderbads are slightly more elite, but you can still hoard it up.
Still hoard it up, yeah. Well, it depends on the points level, what you can do. But yeah, they tend to get... The goblins tend to be sort of like a 500 point basic force, and then you throw whatever nasty stuff you want on top of it.
Yeah.
So typically you might see a shade in a goblin army because it negates their fight value. You might see like, the Shadow Lord to negate shooting because they take long to get there. Witch King on Fell Beast or Double Fell Beast. Yeah, they provide the numbers that make an army viable, and then you throw in the big stuff on top, depending on what the scenarios are.
And you certainly can throw in the big stuff, because they do have quite a bit of big stuff. So we do see quite a lot of Moria Goblin Shamans, and he's 10 points more expensive than the captain.
Yep, but well worth it.
But worth it for the fact that he is going to have an effect on quite a lot of models.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of models we're hoarding out. And then we go to the elite.
The elite captain, yeah, the Gundabad Black Shield captain. So he is fight 3, strength 5 though.
So high strength,
yeah. 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 4, 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate. He has
Defense
heavy
6.
Defense 6, yeah. He has a heavy armour and a 2-handed weapon. So he does have a 2-handed sword. And the Gundabars have ancient enemies. Gundabar black shields reroll 1s when attempting to wound elves or dwarves. So essentially just fainting for free. They don't have to bother with it.
Yeah.
And he has cave dwellers. And he is the same points as a Moria Goblin Shaman.
Now I'm guessing you're going to see this guy all day long over the Moria Goblin Captain.
Yes, yeah. Again, unless you're hoarding it out and you want to get the extra goblins in there. But yeah, this guy, a strength 5, is a bit too much to pass up.
Yeah.
Compared to the Moria Goblin Captain.
Yeah, all of a sudden going to be that much more effective against heroes in particular.
Yeah, defense
dwarves as
7.
well.
Dwarves are the big one there. Then we hit the Gundabad Black Shield Shaman. This guy is 5 points more than the captain, and he's actually quite an interesting one. He's a very offensive shaman. He's fight 2 with a 5+ shoot value, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 2 wounds, courage 4, 1 might, 3 will, 1 fate. He has armour, so no spear this time. Cave dwellers, ancient enemies, and his magical powers are again 2 unique spells to him. He's got Tremor, which is cast on a 5+. You draw a line that extends 2d6 inches from the shaman. All models touched are knocked to the ground and suffer a strength 6 hit.
Wow.
1 model affected can attempt to resist this power in the usual manner.
Wow, that's
pretty
strong.
So you say it's strong, but obviously it depends entirely on what you roll on that 2d6.
Yeah.
So I played a game against Damien where I got a tremor off down his line of ferals, and it went 3 inches.
Oh no!
And I was like,
no!
Like a big long line of the. And he was like, oh no. when are you going to get knocked over and down? I was like, yes, no.
Oh no!
So, it's
Strength 6 though. Strength 6, pretty nasty.
Yeah. 5+ cast is the you can only realistically do it once.
Yeah, I guess it's the next spell, which is the one.
The next spell,
really
the Shatter one. So when I run 2 of these, Thomas Macklin still hasn't really forgiven me for breaking the weapons of his models. So it has Shatter. You pick an enemy model within sight of the shaman, so no range. Oh yeah, there is. Sorry, 12 inches. The victim has all of its weapons destroyed and is considered to be unarmed for the remainder of the game. And that's cast
-1.
3+. Yeah.
It's -1 in the fight and -1 to wound.
Yep.
If you're unarmed, and it's 3+.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, indeed.
And you did this a lot against.
I did it to Boromir, I did it to Aragorn, and I did it to Gimli.
And you, mind you, I guess if you.
And I had a Dwemer Lake, and I Shadow Lord.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, smell the cheese.
That's disgusting.
So he was at -2 to
Oh dear.
-2 to the fight, yeah.
So actually very nasty, a very different kind of shaman than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, this is a really aggressive shaman.
Really aggressive shaman. And bar your example of you taking a couple, do we see much of him?
Yeah, yes and no. Like, if someone's going to take him, they take a couple of them, typically.
I'm sure one of the kids who came to Desolation of Stockport, did they shatter the eagle's claws?
Yes, yeah, you can do, yeah.
Yeah?
Because the model counts as unarmed, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
I think that's a Throne of Skulls, Ed's Spellbeasts got shattered.
Oh, no.
By one of them. So he was like, that's not what I wanted.
How funny.
Yeah.
How funny. No, it's a very interesting profile. Weird model.
Yeah. Odd aesthetic.
Very, very odd. Very odd. And then we do have another name.
We have Ashrak, the Spiderkin. He is a goblin, as you might expect. He's fight 2, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 2 wounds, courage 3, 1 might, 3 will, 1 fate, so shaman.
Yeah.
He has armour and a 2-handed weapon. Cave dwellers. Special rule, Death Touch. Any model who wounds or is wounded by Ashrak in a fight must roll a d6. On a 4+, they are paralysed, exactly if they fail to resist the paralysed magical power. And the paralysed magical power, which we'll come on to with Barrow Whites, that's a nasty one.
That's
very
nasty.
Used to good effect at the doubles tournament.
And he's pretty cheap.
Yeah, he's 10 points more than your average shaman.
Yeah.
And he has Poison Blood. If your force includes Ashrak, you can upgrade any number of giant spiders to be Venomback spiders at a cost of +2 points. If a Venomback spider fails to wound an enemy, it must re-roll the dice.
Wow.
So, essentially Bane of King.
Bane of Kings, yeah.
And when you get those guys enraged, you get 5 dice re-rolling a strength 8 re-rolling fail to win.
They're probably going to kill.
Yeah, probably. Nasty stuff. He's got Fury and Transfix as he is a shaman.
Oh, interesting.
So Yeah, he's a decent shaman to have in your force.
Yeah, and what's very interesting is that most of the goblin heroes, as it were, are very much there to buff the rest of the army.
Yeah, they're support heroes, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, even your big goblin king is a support hero in all
with his iron fist.
Yeah. And that is the heroes of Moria and Angmar.
Now, I think it's really interesting to sort of, what do we tend to see sort of in order of usefulness? So if you're going to bring a Moria list, what is the top thing on your list?
Groblog, Shaman.
Groblog, Shaman.
Groblog, my sort of standard goblin build goes Groblog, 6 Gundabats, 6 goblins with spear, Shaman 6/6, Shaman 6/6. I think that comes to around about 423 points, and you've got 39 models in your force. That it makes a nice big fighting line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. And in terms of other builds?
Well, and then on top of that is when you start throwing in other things.
Yeah.
So that's when you can put in what James Braun calls the circus, which is Druid's Beast Caller, 3 giant spiders, 2 bat swarms, and
Bat swarms are nasty.
Bat swarms, enraged bat swarms, they'll kill you. 2 bat swarms, 3 giant spiders, and I think it's the remainder's filled up with wild wargs.
Yeah, pretty nasty stuff. They've got some good options.
Yeah.
And they all have the ability to make your Moria goblin army very, very, very different.
Yeah.
Very, very different. So I think that brings us to the end of talking about Heroes of Moria, if there's anything else to say. So that means that we will be back when we talk about the monsters of Moria, because there's lots of big, interesting stuff.
Or at least the heroic monsters of Moria. We'll save the monsters are the troops for the warriors.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because these are quite rules heavy.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about in those. I agree. So guys, we hope you enjoyed our first video covering Moria and Angmar, the source book. If you liked it, you know what to do, guys. Make sure that you comment, like, share and subscribe.
Support your hobby, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And as always, team, happy strategy battle gaming.